This is how to outsmart the game of weight loss. I used to be skinny fat, and I only lost fat after working smarter rather than harder. So the first thing that you've got to do is get newbie gains. When the topic of weight loss comes up, the focus is always on changing your diet and doing lots of cardio so that you can be in a calorie deficit to lose fat, either by eating less calories or by burning more calories. But what is forgotten about is that your job in achieving a calorie deficit can be made infinitely easier by getting those beginner muscle gains at the gym. The reason why is because having more muscle increases what's called your basal metabolic rate. Your basal metabolic rate is the amount of calories that you burn at rest every day. And when you have more muscle on your frame, your basal metabolic rate actually increases, meaning you're burning more calories every day by doing nothing. And that makes it a lot easier to be in a calorie deficit if you're burning more calories every day. So I'll give you an example of two people. The first guy, Jamie, has never been to the gym in his entire life. His basal metabolic rate is 2,000 calories. And assuming he burns no extra calories, in order to lose fat, he has to eat less than 2,000 calories. Whereas if you take another guy, Chris, who has gone to the gym for 6 months and he's gotten newbie gains, his basal metabolic rate increased from 2,000 to 2,300. And so again, assuming he burns no extra calories, in order to be in a calorie deficit, he has to eat less than 2,300 calories. And that's a lot easier than eating less than 2,000 calories. In your first 6 months at the gym, even if you're only going 3 times every week, you build so much muscle just because it's such a new stimulus for your body. And that muscle you build more or less stays with you for the rest of your life, even if you were to stop going to the gym after those 6 months. And that's great for 2 reasons. The first being that your basal metabolic rate has just increased, meaning it's a lot easier to lose fat and keep that fat off. The second reason is because you've just got more muscle on your frame, which is a lot better for aesthetic appearance as well. So for example, here I am holding a bit of excess body fat, but I don't look that bad because I've just got that muscle underneath the fat that I'm holding. Whereas if you have no muscle underneath the fat, then you just look soft and flabby. So it astonishes me how many people have never just been able to commit to going to the gym for just 6 months to get those newbie gains, to improve their physiques so easily for the rest of their lives. The second way is to reduce your decision making. I would always stuff up on my diet because I had to make so many decisions throughout the day as to what I was going to eat. I would eat things like chocolate and chips just because they were in my vicinity. So whenever they were there, I was faced with the decision whether or not I should eat them. I would look at them and then think, just one will be okay. So I would eat one bit of chocolate, and I just didn't have the discipline to abstain from doing that. The thing that helped me overcome that was just by not having to make that decision altogether. When the chocolate is removed from your vicinity, you don't have to make that decision as to whether or not you're going to eat the chocolate, because there's no decision to be made. At the same time, you should have meals prepared so that you know what you're going to eat every day as well. If you have nothing prepared, then again, you're opening yourself up to having to make more decisions over what it is you're going to eat. You open yourself up to making bad decisions like ordering Uber Eats or something else that's not conducive to your goal of losing weight. When you have meals prepared, it removes that decision that you have to make. And that way you're going to be able to stick to the diet that's going to be able to get you to lose weight. And it doesn't even have to be specific meals already prepared. You can put out the food that you want to cook for dinner that night in advance. So if you are working, once you come home, instead of going on your phone and ordering Uber Eats because you couldn't be bothered cooking, you have a steak there ready to cook. And so when you come home and you see a steak sitting on the kitchen table ready to be cooked, it's almost as if the decision's already been made for you. The third way is to form negative associations with junk food. The reason junk food is so addictive is because it gives you dopamine when you eat it. You have a positive mental association with junk food because it tastes good. But what is forgotten about is that junk food also leaves us with a negative feeling. After eating junk food, you might feel bloated. You might feel a bit sick, like your stomach's been upset. You might also feel guilt or shame. And I want you to remember that negative feeling that junk food has given you. Because when you're able to form a negative mental association with junk food, then you literally don't want to eat it. You don't have to overcome any temptations because the temptation wasn't there in the first place. When I look at junk food now, I've formed that negative mental association with it to the point where I literally don't want to eat it. And so there's nothing that I have to overcome to abstain from eating it. I know that if I eat the food, I'll feel bloated, I'll feel sick, I'll feel guilty for eating it. And so I don't eat it. And it's as simple as that. So if you learned anything from this video, please consider subscribing. We're getting to 10K subs soon. And I'll see you in the next one.